no. Start. All right, let's see. Are we working? Oh, it's good. Okay, cool. All right. Make sure it's working, no technical issues. Yeah, let's go on TradingView too. All right. I'll be back in just a minute. what's up? Yeah. Let me get everything. What's up, everybody? I'm here now. All right, let's see. Let me post the links first. Links to TradingView and YouTube. Let's get the mic. Test. Looks good. Welcome, everybody. We're going to hang out and trade the FOMC. If I see something, we'll see. I don't feel the need. Let's see what we have going in. So going in today, they are expected to raise by 25 basis points. That's actually kind of surprising. I actually thought that they might not. But that's just what the, I'm going to take the under on this one. I think they actually might not raise rates. If so, that's going to be quite bullish. We shall see. Let's get things set up here. Let me also get chat set up. Get Bitcoin up here and Ethereum. Let me draw out my levels and we'll talk about stuff. Had a little spike here about 1 o'clock. On the 1 minute. Look at that 50% spike. So it's actually coming in looking kind of bullish, but FOMC is going to throw everything out the window. Yeah, that does look like an expensive chair. Thank you, Options Farmer. Hey, what's up, TradingView? MRWD. All right, so what am I looking for? Well, it's really hard to go long because NASDAQ is up at its high that it's set, basically the high of the January rally from January 6th up to February 2nd. So we're basically just poking up at that level again and again and again. It's hard to play along going into the meeting off of that because you can't. What are we going to make from here to here? Got 9 minutes left. That's a good hold of the 50% though. It really shows like it wants to go long. I mean, that's a pretty good come up to the high here and pull back 50%. Did a spike out That's pretty good. Let's see. I got NASDAQ up there, E-mini over here. Yeah, we'll do it that way. I'm actually long SPY coming into this. So if it does keep going up, I'm pretty happy. I think most people are also long crypto, Bitcoin as well. Hello. Yeah, get rid of that. $40.82.50. So on SPY, I've got a 30-minute spike from last Monday when all that FUD hit. So the target for me on that is basically this high now. So short SPY for you, okay. I don't blame you. I mean, with a rally like this, Bitcoin going to be crazy. But you want to be long until 32K. This Ichimoku breakout, which started February the 12th, still going. It held its 50% pullback there. And off of that is, what, 20-something percent. Bitcoin is just, it's been moving. The next move is to at some point hit a resistance and it will give you a pullback. Now, I've been watching these videos from people that are basically the mood of the crypto space is this. Imagine the meme of, it's happening, except intensifying. Every time something happens, it's the end of the U.S. financial system and the coming economic apocalypse that will undo the dollar and force everyone to the Bitcoin standard as currency. But one thing that I've been kind of raging about today is the White House economic report that came out just yesterday, where they really did not have nice things to say about digital currency and talked about how great FedCoin was going to be. No, it's not a joke. The Federal Reserve is going to release its own digital currency. It's not a CBDC. It's different. They say it is, but it is. But no, they're about to later on this year release their own digital currency, and the White House has taken a position that there's no value to existing digital assets. They are just a risk to consumers. And CBDCs are going to be great. They're going to promote equity. They're going to just be better because reasons. And no one's told me how in this bright future where Bitcoin is the world currency, how everyone's going to do transactions when every time you buy a hamburger, it incurs a taxable event that you have to keep track of. Unfortunately, to me, it seems like the battle's already been lost years ago. And the people that were saying that they wanted good regulation, well, unfortunately, you don't get to pick. Anyway, let's make some fake money, fiat. Yes, FUD. It's definitely FUD. I have been doing this. I've been sitting in front of a computer, trading full time for 10 years. Yeah, since 2013. And every time I look at financial media, there is a new story about how everything is going to collapse.
Days.
What's up? Hi, Dubs.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. Yeah, if you guys want to chime in and interrupt me, that's fine, but it's about to drop. I just want to open it up, hang out with people.
Well, yeah, I was going to put it on mute, but thank you. Yeah, I tried to catch your stuff on Fridays. What other times do you go live? I know you go 2 other times a week, right?
No, just Fridays is my weekly thing. That may
Okay.
be a little inconvenient for some people, but that's when I like to do it. It's the close of the week.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah, but
Hey,
no,
I
I
appreciate
do the
it.
FOMCs because they're pretty impactful and exciting usually. So
Absolutely. Yeah, it'll definitely change the scope of things in the next few days for sure.
yeah,
Or weeks. Yeah. Well, good
Ghost
to
Bro,
hear you. I do a
do
lot with Moy, so
you do a lot with what?
with Moy boy.
Who's Moy Boy?
Oh, I thought he listens in on your Fridays and does some other lives with you. So,
Oh, maybe he
uh,
does. Maybe he has. Oh, I know. I don't usually do it with anybody else. So
well, not together, but he's on there with you and
okay,
talk sometime. So, anyways, I'll leave you alone. I'm working retail, so I'm gonna put you on mute. But
okay, that's fine. All right.
hey, I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost Bo. Like I said, since you're on TradingView, if you look, I try to post as often as I can, specifically when something happens interesting. And there's been two instances: February the 12th, or excuse me, January the 12th, when Bitcoin broke out of the Ichimoku cloud on the daily. That was a breakout. That was the start of this year's trend. It's really the first time you wanted to go long since December of 2021. And then we also had the pullback on Thursday, March the 9th, right when all this bank FUD was starting. See, I'd be a lot more amiable to this talk of how this bank FUD is going to pump Bitcoin if it wasn't happening today, 28% later, if it had happened when it hit 20K, when this was a buying opportunity based on a technical level. If people had started talking about it then, before it rose 25%, I'd be like, okay, I respect that. But now that they're talking about it after it's mooning and people care, I don't respect that. You're just coming in after the fact and giving a reason to it after it's already happened that's not going to make anybody any money. All right, 1 minute. Like I said, I'm long coming in. Do I rip the Band-Aid off of Tesla? What do you guys think? I've been sitting in Tesla. It missed my target. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm talking to people on Discord, by the way. I have a Discord community. I don't charge for it, but that's where we hang out to do trading on these cases. All right, here we go. Links are below. What are we doing? That is not much of a response that I would expect. Hold on. A little spike there. Is the spike on NASDAQ? There we go. All right, let's see if this thing spikes out. And by that, what I mean is closes back inside that high. Because I like good risk reward, and I think that if this thing fails out, that's going to be a good risk reward. All right, so did they raise? They did. Fed stayed the course. They did exactly as they thought that everyone, or as they said that they would, which means to me that they're kind of tone deaf. They actually don't think that they're causing a problem in the banking sector. Okay. Okay. That's kind of it's kind of a statement in itself. I think a lot of this rise was predicated on people thinking that the Fed was not going to raise. Like, there's a lot of talk about how they were going to have to stall out their rate hikes because they're killing the economy. They're going to kill the dollar. Nope. They are smarter than anyone else. They're better economists, and they say no. All right, what you got? Let's see. I'm going to watch the SPY. And the ES. Now, of course, what's going to happen now is you're going to have this initial reaction, which, yeah, did not think that was going to be sustainable. Definitely didn't want to long that. Now I want to see, first of all, if we get a few minutes to close inside this high. It's good to be long, but you didn't want to get long. I'm not going to call it a false breakout yet until that bar closes inside. Tesla long short. I am still short Tesla, and I'm feeling like I need to rip off the Band-Aid. The best laid trades of mice and men. See what I? Yeah, you've been watching my my live stream. So, I mean, Tesla basically, I was short from quick skinny of it. Tesla hit a major level. It had this big January rally, and it hit its basically the 50% of the entire leg up from 2019. That split adjusted was the lows of summer of last year, and that's 213, which I shorted it weeks ago, and I was trying to get it down to 160, and instead it got to about 164, $4. And so now I've been sitting here not wanting this thing to go red, but not wanting to give up on it yet. So, well, it may, well, I don't know, yeah, it may hurt autos. I mean, there's a lot of, I saw that used car delinquencies were really high, or they're getting up there. But, you know, that kind of sucks because a lot of people bought some really overpriced used cars. Pushes higher. Bitcoin's up a little bit. Ethereum up tiny bit. This marketing they're doing with Bitcoin is pretty effective right now, because everybody's sharing me that guy on Twitter that bet someone $1 million. that the dollar is going to collapse in 90 days. It's very good marketing. It's getting a bunch of retail people in at this point. You're not too late.
And as we all know, tighter before we had this recent bout of volatility. So I think the Fed is clearly focused on the direct transmission mechanism of this.
What's interesting is that
period of
nothing has really
instability on
changed.
growth and
Like even
inflation.
with interest rates going up, things like TLT, which you think will be down, would be changed. It's because the market's pretty much already priced in what the Fed has said, that they're going to raise it probably 2 in addition to this times this year. It's already priced it all in. If they had lowered rates, you would have seen a big jump up. Bigger. Well, you can always sell your treasuries. You're just going to take a loss on them. Yeah, MRWD. The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. This doesn't make sense to me because this rise up that we've had over the last few days, I think has been predicated on the idea that the Fed was not going to raise rates. So the market got exactly what it wanted. And so, yeah, I'm not really buying it. I'm not really buying it. Well, if I'm going to tell if it's a fake out or not, so let's look at the NASDAQ. I'm looking at the futures. So there's your level right there, 12, that high from February. Let's go off the NASDAQ. We'll pick that. The high is on the futures 12,949. Let's call it 12,950. And we're above it right now. But I really want to see this whole hour really come. I mean, anything can happen here. I mean, this can turn into a big, thin, tall wick for a false breakout. And it's been punishing shorts me for the last week. It's not to say that I'm committed to a short, but I mean, this is the level. And really what you need is you need a daily bar to close above that level. And then you've got a pretty solid case. But this right here, December the 13th, this is what I'm talking about. Like December the 13th, that was a CPI report. Okay, came up to a major resistance level. The CPI, the data came through, pushed it up, and then that took you down for the Santa Claus not rally. And then this spike back here in October is another one. And as we see, we get into this report right here. The problem is this happened too close to the high. Like you really want to see price kind of creep up and break that high on its own, because if you wait for news to do it, it can just be a fake out. So I'm not buying this yet, and I may not even buy it fully to the end of the day, but I'm trying to see now if there's a possibility that we can get into a short based on what I like to do. And I'm not going to get the kind of spike that I want unless this 30-minute gives me something. If so, I'll take some Q futures. The move itself, if we go down to the 1 minute right here, yeah, so it came down, pinged this 12,960. That's what it's trying to hold right now. This, basically, if we give up this area here, and that's where that daily high is, this right here is the support that's going to try to hold. If we start capturing that and get down below it, that's going to be the signs of a false breakout. So we got to wait and see here. Yeah, this might be a normal year. Summers may be. Summer is typically a dead time. Summer has not been a dead time for trading in the last few years, which has been interesting. As long as I've been trading since the early days, summer was always just a slow time. Back in my day, the ES would only move 3 to 5 points. I mean, you'll see 30, 50 days. Yeah, it was a much less volatile time. The VIX was single digits. What's the VIX doing on this? VIX isn't really nothing's really happening on this. Yeah, this banking FUD really kicked up the VIX, set up some good premium selling, but starting to come back to what is normal for us, which is 1920. ES is really falling off. I'm not buying it. I ain't buying it. I'm going to watch the SPY itself, the ETF. This is what I'm actually long. I wanted to see it get up to, let's call it, 403. But if you think about it from perspective, okay, we're getting some spikes coming now. 400 being a psychological level. All right, what we got here? So I know what's happening. Basically, my 5 minutes and my 15 minutes are triggering the spike because we're coming back down into the range. Don't want to do anything now, 15 minutes away from JPow talking, because I think people are definitely waiting to see what he has to say. See if he acknowledges the banking crisis and reveals any kind of FUD on their part. Or if they say, while we've raised today, we recognize that there are issues and we may consider our options in the future. If you don't recall, right before all the banking stuff happened, he gave I think a off speech. It wasn't FOMC a few weeks ago, where he said that they were actually considering increasing the number of rate hikes in 2023 by 1. There were supposed to be 2. This would have been one of them, but they were considering making up to 3, and so that kind of killed the market a little bit. Hey, what do you think is happening to BTCD? I think that Bitcoin has been, it broke out as I posted on January the 12th, and it pulled back to 20K on March the 9th, which was the other opportunity. And right now, you are in the late stages of this bull trend. What is happening to it is coming up to find itself a resistance. I think your optimistic case is 32K, but that's being very optimistic and you're catching it kind of late. That's what's happening right now. But there's a really good marketing campaign going on social media right now that tells you that the dollar is going to fail because reasons, and Bitcoin is going to become the global currency. Although I don't know how you're going to buy things when you have to keep track for the IRS on everything that you buy and sell because you incur a taxable event. We'll see. $15-minute spike out. So on the 15-minute ES, the low from the banking, was that the, no, that's just this Monday's low. The low is 39.80. The low from the banking FUD to 50% is 39.50. That's a good 3-to-1 on the futures of the 15 minutes. NASDAQ also doing a 15-minute. It close. You notice how this first 15 minutes close back inside that high, that daily high. The one thing I've learned over the years is that I won't enter another trade today. Let the market react as crazy as it wants today and then make your moves tomorrow. That'll work. As you can see, I'm being really kind of patient. BTC dominance. I imagine that BTC dominance is really kicking off crypto free and sir. Just because, I know that, today Bitcoin is up, Ethereum and Monero, the other two I look at, are going down. I've never really found the Bitcoin dominance chart to be tradable. I'm not really sure how to translate this into a trade. But like I said, Bitcoin has a much better marketing department than anything else right now. And everyone's talking about Bitcoin because this Bitcoin maximalism narrative, fixed supply, global reserve currency, is a lot more powerful than Ethereum, especially with, the fact that the IRS wants to tax NFTs now. So I don't know maybe you can tell me how you trade Bitcoin dominance. I mean, we're basically back to close to 48%, which is what it was in June of 22. Well far from, where it was before. I'm not really sure how this is tradable. I'm just looking at the price of Bitcoin itself, which is what you're going to trade if you're going to trade. Yeah. So I am going to go ahead and close my SPY. My long SPY from the Monday of the banking FUD. I'm going to call that a win. So that's what I'm going to do. So just to recap on that, why did I go long SPY? So for the longest time, well, from October, the October CPI report up to the high of February the 2nd on SPY, that creates a 50% retracement of this move. Let me just draw it again. Actually, I'll just start over. Boom to boom. So when we get up to that high there, that's what I'm looking at. It also happens to be where price tended to range around here back in December. And so this whole move through February, it stalled. And then through February, we sold off until finally, boom. On Monday, March the 13th, we finally hit that level, 383.21. And more importantly, on the 30-minute, I get this little bad boy right here. This is the spike, the same thing that we're seeing happen on this news, where it comes down, pings the level, closes back inside this range. Boom. That is a long, ladies and gentlemen. And why is it a long? Because all I need to do is put my stop right there, aim for a 3-to-1, and let that fly. Come back, test it again. Come back, test that level one more time. Never stopped out. And here we are going into this thing, and I'm starting to see signs of a false breakout. Now, the one mistake that you may be seeing me make live is I'm not waiting for the 30-minute bar to close. But I think this is a good win for now. The one thing I'm not doing is cutting my Tesla yet. So this right here missed my target at 160 by that much. And yesterday when we had this big bullish move, it popped up. You notice how from the high down to the low, the trend that I've been in, it came up to this 50%, closed above it in the first 30 minutes, pulled back to it, held it. That would have probably been the optimal exit to just accept it, but I got a little bit of ego in this thing. That's not going to make me any money, so you may see me get punished if this thing keeps on going up. But definitely can't hold this thing after, the high here, the spike. It's pretty much revealed itself right here. So we're going to hang on to that. The other trades that I'm in, NCLH, Norwegian Cruise Lines. This I got into Monday. And I'm trying to see if this is a potential, this is the bottom that I'm playing right here. It's not any kind of fancy pattern. Oh yeah, I know. People love to do this stuff. Let me draw a diagonal line. If you're on my Discord, you know how much I love diagonal lines. There you go. All right, we're going to ignore the fact that it kind of breached it right there, but we're going to say, diagonal uptrend line. And that's what I'm trying to play right there. But also it's a little spike here. That's what triggers me an alert. That's why you see, TradingView come up with, spike. Those also I have routed into Discord, some of them. And what it does is it tells you when something has broken a range and closed back inside of it. It's not rocket science, but man, false breakouts and 50% levels, I trust them so much. They just work. Caterpillar is the other one. That's just a straight up 50% pullback from a few days ago, from a trend from October to there. Kroger, if I don't mention Kroger, Jen's going to be mad at me. Kroger is something I've had for, since 2020s. It pulled back in October to its 50%. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I didn't take extra on this because I was already long it, but man, look at that. Look at that. 50% pullback from the August 2019 to April. So waste management, I've had this thing for years. And MKTX, this has been basically, this is from November, 50% pullback in November of last year. And this is related to bonds. This is actually a bond trading platform company. Yeah, so this has been carrying my portfolio this whole year, basically. All right. JPow's about to talk. I could be hasty. This could have not been a false breakout. But I've been looking for an exit on that for a minute. We'll see. I got plenty of longs. But yeah, going back to, Ethereum, I don't really have an opinion about. Ethereum, just at the same time that Bitcoin pulled back to its 20K, it pulled back to 14, which was, again, the 50% retracement of the low, the FTX low, up to its high. Boom, pulled back to 14, 50%, 50% levels. How I draw that in TradingView is I go in and I take out all the other Fibonacci's. But what it's been doing, Ethereum is just not that nearly as interesting as Bitcoin right now because it's so bullish. But like I said, I know that the social media says you're not too late, bro, but you needed to be in when it finally broke out. You needed to be in when it pulled back to 20K. And things like this, I'll tell you right now, they don't. Price action like this, I know it's crypto, but it doesn't do this. It's not just going to do that for you. It's going to take a little bit of a ride if it does do that. And so where you be looking to smartly play this again is possibly, here's what I think is going to, I'll put this out there. I think what will happen is you'll get a little push up, like to maybe about like 30. And then what that's going to do is that's going to set up 50% from the low here to that high. So it's going to set that up, and then you're going to pull back to retest these highs, and then you can possibly go to 32K. That's my prediction. Just happens a lot like that. But yeah, something's up 25% in a week, even if it's crypto, you're going to get burned one way or another. You got to watch this thing every day, and you got to take actual opportunity. All right. I'm really wanting to short this, but I'm not. I'm going to wait for the 30-minute. All right. Yeah, the 15-minute. Yeah, okay, you already called that for me. Yeah, I really want to short this spike, but I need to wait for I wanted a 30-minute to confirm it. I really wanted a 30-minute to confirm, but now we're in JPow's hands. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, the marketing on social media. You got this guy, somebody shared it to me now. He's doing a podcast. It's not an accident that people are sharing me podcast of that guy because he made such a bold claim, betting $1 million the dollar's going to fail in 90 days and buy Bitcoin. I mean, if you're a boomer, you get alerts from Robert Kiyosaki telling you that this is an emergency every week. And FUD just sells. It just does. People share it. It's interesting. It titillates the senses. Makes us think that there's a wild animal coming for us out of the woods. It's very primal fear. But I don't think it makes anybody any money. Ask the people that bought silver 10, 20 years ago how that's working out. Yeah, it makes the editors money. If I was selling something, I would definitely be going down that route. Because what's the loss? It doesn't happen in 90. I mean, what do the people that have run doomsday cults done when their prophecies don't come true? Do they I was wrong. I'm not the true religion. No, they Change the date. Sorry. I'm sorry, option. Silver is like, I got a lot of friends that are silver bugs. I do. Coinbase? Oh, I don't want to look at Coinbase. Hold on, I'm going back through your chat. Coinbase is trading at what, 81.89 right now. I think it's currently overvalued by 81. What is it at? It's trading at 81.56. I think it's overvalued by $81.56. I do. That's just a personal animosity I have. Trading wise, did they hold their 50%? Nah, they violated it here. I didn't short it, but I mean, Coinbase is going to be based on crypto. It's a bet on crypto. Silver, though. Yeah, my friends, they're silver bugs. So, hold on. Can I find? Okay, so this is all right. JPow is talking, so I probably need to focus on that. But this is basically silver bugs, except instead of these things right here. Basically, anytime silver goes up, they love to send me messages about how silver's going up. People are just absolutely committed to silver. It's nice. It's nice. Yeah, and a lot of people. There's every time one of the big things that was back in February of 21, where I remember there's this meme going around social media where silver was going to enter a short squeeze, and I went back through the last couple of years because I've been, like I said, I've been doing this for a decade, and I remember, probably it was 2015 where they also talked about a short squeeze. In other words, buy physical silver. You're gonna make the big banks go out of business, bankrupt them. Stick it to them. And it was a false breakout on the weekly time frame. I don't think anyone sold their silver, but I mean, it's just never gotten up to 29 again. But I mean, that weekly bar right there, that was hold on. Let's see if I can. Yeah, they have paid content on Zero Hedge now. But yeah, I mean, basically it was a Wall Street bets, it was Zero Hedge, everyone talking about silver squeeze. Maybe I'll pay for Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge is often good to inverse. All right, I just saw the ES go red. Oh, that's silver. Hang on. Yep. JPow be talking. He be talking smack. Who was Max Kaiser? Don't remember that name. Premiums? You mean like the premiums that silver sellers charge? Hold on. Oh, the thing is it's hot to talk about Bitcoin. That's what people are into. I mean, there's tens of thousands of millions, maybe now, of people that are hungry for content that tells them if they just hodl, they're going to be the secret kings one day. Okay, now the name's starting to ring a bell. I'm not sure if getting some of the poorest people to put their wealth into the most highly volatile asset is necessarily the smartest fiduciary thing to do. Do I want to, though? Do I want to see his clips? All right, so this thing, again, I was starting to get a little bit of FOMO right here on not being in this spike, but look what it did. It just pulled back to basically this support turn resistance. NASDAQ, bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Where's my ball? Where's my bouncing ball? Oh, he created Bitcoin? No, I think the person that created Bitcoin was what was that cryptologist guy? He's dead now. It would make a lot of sense why the coins have not moved. Let me see if I can get JPow talking on here.
Instead, we now anticipate that some additional policy firming may be appropriate. We will closely monitor incoming data and carefully assess the actual and expected effects of tighter credit conditions on economic activity, the labor market, and inflation.
We will closely
and
monitor.
Our policy decisions will reflect that assessment. In our SEP,
Does he sound
each
tired?
FOMC participant wrote down an
like his
appropriate
voice
path for the
used to be a
federal
lot
funds
more
rate
soothing
based on what that participant
used to be.
judges to be the most likely scenario going forward.
He's got a little crack in his voice now.
If the economy evolves as projected,
not good.
the
Short it
median
all.
participant
JPow
projects
stressed.
that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 5.1% at the end of this year, 4.3% at the end of 2024,
I bet he does.
and 3.1% at the end of 2025. These are little changed from our December projections, reflecting offsetting factors. These projections are not a committee decision or plan. If the economy does not evolve as projected, the path for policy will adjust as appropriate to foster our maximum employment and price stability goals. We will continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting based on the
This is the most
totality of the
Bitcoin
incoming
thing you
data
could do at a
and
Bitcoin
their
conference.
implications
Terrible.
for the outlook
This is
for
the instrument
economic
of financial
activity and
terrorism.
inflation.
We're eradicating the plague of the
We
U.S.
remain-
dollar and all fiat money. Will you join us, my son? Will you forsake fiat money?
I've got to have
and
the
accept
laser eyes
Bitcoin
Bitcoin
into
maximalism
your
is
life
definitely a
as
religion.
the ultimate savior?
I praise the algorithm.
It's
Done! Saved! Saved again! Another soul has been saved!
it's unironic.
This is garbage.
This is the most Bitcoin thing you could do at a Bitcoin conference.
Terrible.
Terrible.
This is the instrument of financial terrorism. We're eradicating the plague of the U.S. dollar and all fiat money. Will you join?
That is very Bitcoin. That's a very Bitcoin maxi thing to do. It requires faith. But I've just thought about things a little bit too much, unfortunately. I went to the first Bitcoin conference in New York in 2011. I went to South by Southwest in 2013 looking for a Bitcoin panel. They didn't have one. And I've seen it over the years, and it's not as excited about it as I once was. I don't see anything. I see a reason to be patient. I think probably if you were a bit of a scalper, you could have probably tried to buy this 4024. But if I'm going to take a trade, it's going to be a big risk reward. So basically, breaking the high, that's bullish. And essentially what's going to happen is JPow is going to stop talking.
We were clearly
and then
ongoing rate hikes. In
you'll
fact, as of
probably
a couple of
see
weeks ago,
the
it
true
looked like
trend
we need
develop.
to raise rates
And
over the course
as
of the year more than we'd expected at the
Who was
time
it said
of the
earlier?
SCP in December.
Wait
It's
until
under December
tomorrow.
meeting. We are committed to restoring price stability, and all of the evidence
MRWD,
says
yeah.
the public has
Oh, you
confidence
want me to
that
look
we will
at
do so,
dollar
that will bring
Swissy?
inflation
That's an
down to
interesting
2%
thing to look at.
over time. It is
Don't
important
typically
that
look
we
at
sustain
dollar
that confidence
Swiss.
with our actions as well as our
But it
words.
looks like the dollar's
So we
probably
also
coming
assess,
down.
as I
Let's
mentioned,
just look at the
that events of the
DXY.
last 2 weeks are likely to
So
result in some
DXY is
credit
interesting
conditions for households and
because
businesses, and
I've been
thereby
watching
weigh
this
on demand
for
on the
you know
labor
since
market
November.
and on
Pull
inflation.
back to let me clean up all my arrows
Such
here.
a tightening in financial conditions would work in the same
These are
direction
from
as
past
rate
live
tightening.
streams
In
where I've talked
principle,
about
as a
it.
matter of fact, you can think of it
So
as
this is
being the
actually
equivalent
interesting.
of a rate hike,
Now
or
that I'm looking
perhaps
at this.
more than that. Of course, it's not
So
possible to
the
make that
50%
assessment today
retracement
with any precision
on the
whatsoever.
whole move of the
So our
dollar
decision
is
was to move
102,
ahead with a 25 basis point
and we held it
hike, and to
in
change our
January.
guidance, as I mentioned,
Rose off
from
of it.
ongoing
Interesting how it
hikes
rose
to,
with the stock market. Usually it's inverse.
some
And
additional
now it's
hikes
pulling
maybe.
back
So
to it.
policy firming may be
What?
appropriate. So going forward, as I mentioned, in assessing the need
And
for
euro
further hikes,
dollar
we'll be focused,
is
as
up.
always,
It's also
on
pulling
the
back
incoming
to it as
data
well.
and the evolving
This
outlook,
is a trade that
and
I'm not
particular
in
on our
that I
assessment of
was
the actual
feeling
and expected
FOMO
effects
about.
of credit tightening.
A spike. It could be coming back up to retest it again, but this is interesting. This is actually interesting. So the dollar is
Mr.
actually
Can you
going down
explain,
while the market's going up.
the
That makes
difference
sense.
between ongoing rate increases and
But it's coming to
firming?
a resistance level.
Does firming imply a rate increase per se, or could policy firm without you increasing rates?
It's going to try
I
it.
think it's
gonna
meant
try to
refer
break
our
up.
policy rate. Really, I would focus on the words may and some, as opposed to ongoing. So we clearly were, what we were doing there was taking on board the trying to reflect
Hey,
the
what's up, man?
uncertainty
Hold on.
about
I can hear you.
what will happen. I mean,
Oh, welcome
it's
back.
possible that this will turn out to have very
Yeah.
modest effects.
Here, I'll
These
turn off
events will
JPow.
turn out to be
We'll
very-
know when he
very
stops
modest
talking.
effects.
No, I
Starts
mean,
to move.
I just what's going on? I haven't
We're
been
just
paying
hanging
attention all
out,
day.
watching paint.
No, I mean, oh, is it? When's the announcement?
It's already happened.
Oh, what was it? 25.
Yeah, as the market
Yay! To
predicted.
everybody's nobody's surprise. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little. Well, no, I'm not surprised actually. It could have gone either way for me. I was. If they had, man, they actually do have a very hard job, because if they had acknowledged, that they were
Dude, those money
nervous-
printers don't burr themselves, man.
If they had decided to not raise rates in acknowledgement of the thing, that would have actually spooked the market even more.
Yep.
Because that would have
Likely
said,
so.
Yeah, that would have said basically, we do think it's a problem, but staying the course.
Well, that would mean they're scared. They
Yeah,
can't show fear.
Exactly. They would have done it out of fear. They would have reacted to something that the gray-haired economists have hitherto said is localized.
Now it's time for inflation to start trending upward.
We shall see. I need to make this meme because I haven't seen it, but the Ron Paul meme.
It's happening.
I want to make a meme that's shaking, where it's happening intensifies.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one. I would use that.
That really captures like the social media around Bitcoin right now.
It's happening intensifies, or it's happening more. But
It's
yeah, I
happening
like
more.
intensifies.
Yeah.
It's happening more.
As I said earlier,
MOAR.
before you got on,
More.
this guy that's making that 90-day bet that the dollar's going to fail, I would have respected that if he would have said it on March the 9th when it was at 20K. I would have respected that a lot more as a trader. As a trader, I don't respect him because he's coming in after this move and trying to get some retail to pay attention again.
I don't think that's going anywhere.
Well, people sure are sending me his podcasts.
Oh, I know everybody's in a tizzy, but I mean, I think I really hate time-based predictions like that. I think nobody knows. That's the thing, is it's really easy to get a time-based prediction wrong, even if you're right.
Speaking of time-based predictions, I was forced to admit that Reddit sometimes has interesting stuff. This was posted on Reddit the other day. Wall Street Bets.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, I was looking at this last night in my esoteric, late night phase, and I realized that, it's like it's not exactly accurate. He's pretty good about like the Great Depression.
Well, I mean, are you sure this wasn't backdated?
No, actually, I can't be sure. But it does fall apart though. Like the idea that you want to sell your stocks in 1980. If you bought in 85,
Well, 1980, yeah, 1982 was not even that. I mean, there was they had in 1981, that's when they were having the inflation crisis.
Yes, it was.
And then 2000, of course, 2008 skipped a beat because it's not even on here. I mean, there's a minor one.
2007, but it says
Right,
years of
but I
good
mean, that's a
times.
minor.
Years of good times. The time to sell stocks that's how you read this. This level right here is the time to sell. Panics are at the top. 99 was 2 years off the panic. 2019 was 1 year off the panic.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be having another one again.
Till 2035?
Yeah.
I theoretically agree with this.
Well, of course,
it's hard
cyclical.
It's hard to nail down the exact year. I theoretically and thematically agree with it because there's something about human emotional cycles that I think you have to take into account.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, it's like any other adaptive cycle. You know what I mean? And that's what he's saying. Literally, what he's saying there is good times breed bad times, and the opposite is true also. So.
Oh, looks like SPY is going up. SPY and everything. I need to set an alert on Tesla. It's gonna hurt, but I gotta do it. Let's see if I want to see if JPow has stopped talking.
Is intact.
He's answering
That's
questions
right.
now.
Goods inflation's been coming down now for 6 months. It's proceeding more slowly
Being Wall
than
Street
we would
Bets,
have
did you
liked,
see
but it's
the,
certainly proceeding.
The AI one of JPow, the one where they deep faked him?
Time passing, we continue to see the new leases being
Oh, that one was really
much lower
good.
levels of inflation. So that's 44% of the
JPow
It's fairly convincing. Oh, it's fairly convincing. He starts off with, first off, fuck your click.
A sign of
Hold on.
progress in
Fuck your
the
bitch in the clicky claim.
services sector. And that is
Let me.
And then he says, fuck your puts, fuck your calls.
Demand and perhaps some softening
is
in
it on
labor
the
market
top page?
conditions. We don't see
No, it
that
was
yet.
like 2 days
That's,
ago.
That's, of course, 56% of the index. So the story is pretty much the same. I will say that the inflation data that we got, to your point,
Google
really
JPow
pointed to stronger
deepfake. I'm sure it'll come up.
If I could follow up on that, I was curious why you don't see more coming from the credit crunch, because it seems to me that's something that you'd actually welcome to a degree and expect. And are you not seeing more coming from that because you don't know, or
Maybe
because
not.
you just don't want to have another
looking for
round
it.
of wishful thinking?
so it's really just a question of
Jen,
not
you're better
knowing
at these
at this
kind of things.
point.
Be able
There's
to look for
a
JPow
great deal
deepfake.
of literature on the connection between tight
I was
credit
on Wall Street
conditions,
Bets a couple days
economic
ago.
activity, hiring, and inflation. Very large body of literature.
What's with
the
this
question is, how
chicken
significant will this credit tightening be,
Plucked?
and how sustained will it be?
Is that
That's
a
the
way of
issue,
saying-
and we don't really see it yet. It's so
Is that a new
people
way
are
of
making
saying
estimates.
they're
People are publishing estimates,
asked?
and it's very kind of
I have no
rule of
idea.
thumb guesswork almost at this point.
Kind of
But
chicken.
we think it's potentially
Attendees?
quite real.
Oh,
And that
maybe
argues
maybe
for
that's what it
you
has
know
to do with.
being alert as we go
I
forward,
don't-
as we think about further rate hikes. For us, we'll be paying attention to the actual and expected effects from that.
Hi, Chair Powell. Gina Smilek from the New York Times. Thank you for taking our questions. I wonder if you could talk a little bit. I know that you've got your internal review coming, but I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you think happened with oversight at Silicon Valley Bank and whether this suggests that something about regulation and supervision needs to actually change.
Somebody
going
saying something?
forward.
It's really quiet.
And I wonder, how can the American people have confidence
Yes, I've
that
got
there aren't
the
other
I got
weaknesses out there in the banking
meeting
system,
on
given that this
coming
one
through.
got missed?
You're probably
as
not
you
hearing
noted.
Discord because it's coming through my
So
speaker.
let me say
It
what,
doesn't
what
from the desktop
I
audio.
think happened, and then I'll come to the questions
What's he
around
saying?
supervision. So
Anything
at
I
a
care
basic
about?
level, Silicon Valley Bank management failed badly. They grew the bank very quickly. They exposed the bank to significant liquidity risk and interest rate risk. Didn't hedge that risk. We now know that supervisors saw these risks and intervened. We know that the public saw all this.
I'm gonna know exactly what's happening by looking at this chart right here. Still trying to bust that high. I don't see anything trade. Well, let's see. We might get a spike out of it. We'll watch. Hyperinflation tracker.
Okay, I found it.
You know, post it in Discord or you got
Deep
something?
faking value.
Where can I find it?
I just did the top of this week. Hold on a sec. I'll paste it in there. Yeah, but it's tagged with deep faking value. That is too funny. Just chatting. There you go.
Fuck your bitch and the click you claim. I am here today, despite the blackout before FOMC, to tell you regards not to pump the market. If you pump the market, I will have to bitch slap you on Wednesday. Let me take this opportunity to tell you that I already sold at the top. And me and my fellow Fed buddies are looking to get back in long once the market bottoms at 3,600. Yeah, that's the JPM collar put leg for those of you keeping track at home. Me and Jamie Dimon planned for this. So if you WSB twats pump the market Monday and Tuesday because you've been listening to Jam Crossant and Believe in Vanna and Charm Flows, I'm going to put on my Walker mask and come fuck your moms on Wednesday. Also, we are going to bail out the banks, but you fuckwads better not pump the stock market on this news. Okay, enough. I gotta go. I got an appointment. Nick from Wall Street Journal is coming over to suck my dick for some scoops. Always remember, fuck your putts, fuck your calls. JPow has you by the balls. God bless my money printer.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're getting better, huh? I mean, that one was not very convincing deep fake, but hilarious.
The way they're not convincing, there's a slight difference in the voice from what you could normally see. We haven't got that perfect.
Did you see the Matrix one?
Yeah.
The Vanilla Ice Matrix one? That one was much better. It was really good.
I'm just critiquing here. I'm just saying where we're not there. It's not perfect yet, and that's all I ask for. And everything is perfection.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not far off the problem.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's not. I'm enjoying this time where there's still a difference. Let's put it that way, because you can still notice a slight difference in voice, and the mouth, it tends to artifact a little bit, you know. But that will improve, and I imagine that if you could probably do it perfectly now with incredible diligence and
you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of an old meme. The meme is shopped. I can tell from the pixels and from having seen a few shops in my time.
Yes.
That's what we're in for.
Yeah, but I think as I posted in the share room, I actually don't believe that this is going to fundamentally change the world. I think that people will continue to believe in bullshit. It's just that now they'll be able to share
I think it will.
evidence.
I think it will change the world because everybody will get to believe in all of their own bullshit.
People
Because
already
they'll
no,
all
you
right.
get me.
But I mean, it's going
Understand
to
here.
accelerate it, is what I'm saying.
People already believe in bullshit, sans or despite evidence.
I agree, but I'm just saying it's going to accelerate that trend.
I think that people have probably believed in bullshit for as long as people have been talking.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so in the 1950s, if you put 100 people of varying disagreements on the political spectrum in a room together for hours, they would moderate. Now, they polarize. It's the complete opposite. And it's just going to get worse.
I
because of this.
agree. I kind of crossed a little bit of a, as you kind of saw by my rant to you today, I've kind of crossed a little, line that I said I never would. Because, back in 2015, 16, people were defriending people on Facebook, predominantly, liberals defriended conservatives. I finally understand. And it's
As a rule, I never block anybody.
Me either.
Because that's how you end up in an echo chamber.
I seek out, and why I appreciate talking to you sometimes, I seek out people to challenge my ideas because I want to seek truth, and echo chamber is not going to give you there. Trust me, I'm in echo chambers, and they frustrate me just as much as people that I disagree with because they believe in some really crazy stuff. Like, I'm literally in a chat where I have discussions with a flat earther, unironically.
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, and then they also have a lot of other little things. Part of that is just wanting to believe in something that's not like, they just want to disbelieve whatever they're being told. There's that kind of plays into flat Earth in a lot of ways. But no,
someone who regularly attends the meetups is a flat earther.
Do what?
Someone who regularly attends the meetups is a flat earther.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's like, I think that everyone that attends our crypto meetups is above average or higher IQ, and there's a point where you get diminishing returns. I really believe that. You've thought too critically about things.
Well, as humans, we're patterns matching machines, so we tend to even find patterns even when none exist.
Yeah. That's kind of what I've always said about, like, DARE. Remember DARE back in school? Drug abuse.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, it was sort of like, they told you that, if you did anything, if you took one sip of alcohol, smoked a puff of weed, that you were going to die alone and broken and of AIDS inevitably. Like, and then that doesn't happen, and you're like, what else did they lie to me about?
Well, I think it's more responsible for people getting into harder drugs, because if they told you the truth, then you'd avoid the hard drugs and say, "Oh no."
I totally agree. I totally agree.
I mean, it's horrific. I mean, generally speaking, lying to the populace is not a good idea.
No, it's not. But why do people do it then? Why do people? Oh crap! Like, what the hell? Oh no, TradingView. Awesome.
I think because it's expedient.
Is that why?
It's easier than dealing with stuff. In truthful terms.
Let's explore that a little bit. Like, what's a lie? What's a lie that you're thinking about?
I don't know. I don't have an example other than the DARE one. I mean, if we do, it's going to be like a universal lie, like the DARE one, not a left-right lie.
My TradingView just laptop. Well, I try to be as non-political as I can.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, so let's say Nixon.
Nixon. Okay, that's good to go with.
I mean, pretty much everybody agrees. The guy was lying through his fucking teeth.
I have consumed enough fully fleshed out historical information to say that yes, he was in fact a crook.
Yeah, he was a crook. I mean, and you know,
If
I don't
you
know
have
how
to
much he
say it.
actually lied about, other than I am not a crook. That's a blatant lie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because yeah, you're a fucking crook, dude. I don't know, because yeah, looking at that, I guess to answer your question, using that example that we both agree on, it's really less about the person you're lying to and more about yourself.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, same with the dare, right? It's not you're not lying to the children really for them. You're lying about yourself and saying, "Oh, none of us would ever do drugs. That's terrible." You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not really about them. And just like Nixon, which I am not a crook. I mean, you know, it's your perception of me that matters. You know, not the truth. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that's the fundamental reason, because you asked the question, why do we lie to the populace? It's for image reasons.
Let's bring it back on topic. What were they lying about economically to us? I know what you think.
Inflation.
Yeah, inflation. Yeah, they changed the metrics to.
Well, that's a small lie, but it's still a lie.
Is it possible that things?
But again, it's about image.
Yeah.
The health of the economy rather than a person. But yes.
Is it possible that we will be fine?
Yes.
Okay.
And in fact, I think we
really
will be
I
fine.
really enjoy talking to you, because there's a lot of people that I could ask that, and they will not think that. The sky is falling. It's been falling for the last 10 years. Gravity is very slow.
There's a distribution of likelihood of outcomes.
Yes.
That's the way I see it.
When I was listening to the podcast that someone sent me of the dude who's apparently a billionaire that made the 90-day Bitcoin prediction.
It's Balaji Srinivasan. He's the guy behind 21.co. He tried to do personal mining on people's phones. He sold a little box and everybody was going to mine Bitcoin, and it was the most I would just say misdirected idea ever in Bitcoin. So, I mean, the guy's not dumb. He's obviously clearly very smart, but he's Stanford educated, extremely smart CEO type guy, but he's not always right. So.
Yeah, but he can definitely say something sensational on Twitter and get people to pay attention to him. Well, I was listening to him because the interviewer did the smart thing, and this has been. I will appreciate this about modern podcasting, or just general information discourse, and I think this has really kind of come about from podcasting, is asking people to steel man, an argument against their point.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you have the long form, that's what I attribute it to, that you can actually explore it. And they ask him, can you argue to the point that you are wrong? And he took the challenge and he said, well, the way I could be wrong is it happens in a longer amount of time. So
well, yeah, words, that's almost always the case. I mean, anytime, that's why I don't time box anything.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Like, I'm not wrong. It's just a matter of when I'll be right. So I found that
one can say most things are going to happen. Like if you make a prediction that something will happen, if there's a chance of it happening, probably eventually it will, right?
Yeah. Hang on a second. What do you mean option? JPow is sharing how tightening is happening in banks, homes, and cars. Okay, so the market go down now because he's saying FUD. Is that what it is? I'm gonna get delayed data if I'm trying to watch it, but.
Are you saying that de facto deposit insurance covers all savings?
On the rate, of course he did.
Congress have a say in that? And just by way of example, if a bank with less than $1 billion in assets failed, are you promising to bail out all of its depositors? Thanks.
Well, I'm not saying anything more than I'm saying. So, but what I'm saying is you've seen that we have the tools to protect depositors when there's a threat of serious harm to the economy or to the financial system, and we're prepared to use those tools. And I think depositors should assume that their deposits are safe.
Everything's fine, everyone. So on a
Thank you,
trading
Chair.
perspective, looking at this right here, I haven't taken anything except closing out longs. But yeah, I didn't take this one, and maybe now if we get a pullback to there, I might look for a short. But I've been looking
Counter
for a short all
argument:
day.
nothing is fine, and it will never be fine again.
I sometimes leave my house, and I sometimes talk to people that are not into crypto, believe it or not. And you would be surprised at how many people do not think about these things.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I know. I'm being facetious. But you would be surprised at how most people, I would fathom a guess that more than 50% of people do not even know why we were hanging out at 3 o'clock on an afternoon, listening to this old guy talk.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same thing too. I mean, to a lesser extent, but most people, I would say not most people, but a large subset of people don't give a shit about sports. Same deal.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is just like a sporting
Oh,
contest.
yeah. For us, this is our sports. Yes.
Yeah.
This is sports. Sports ball. Yeah.
I'm one of them. I don't give a shit about sports.
I like professional StarCraft, but unfortunately, that's going away.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is. But
I mean, not too sad. I don't watch it, but still.
Sad for me, and you're sad for me. I know.
No, I mean, I honestly, I don't care much for team sports or of any kind, and watching other people do competitions kind of that for me. But I could see something more like that than a sporting event.
I will. Another thing that's kind of relevant to my interest, you just said that remind me, option farmer is most people don't know that money is debt. Yeah, and I've been. I was looking at this chart yesterday. Let me look it up. Fred. Credit card delinquencies. So let me see if there's a chart. Yeah, there's been a little bit of an uptick in consumer credit card delinquencies. It's not nearly what it was in 2008, but I keep an eye on this because I recently got into some like high risk opportunity lending, and for a lot of people I've talked to, it has been going pretty well for a while, loaning to people that can't get credit, but the delinquencies have started to tick up. And
so I think this chart looks like a. I think it. I would like to see it put up against the base rate interest rates, because I think it probably correlates pretty damn well.
Can we add it to this thing?
Yeah, you can. Go to edit graph.
Edit graph. Okay. So I want to look for.
No, that's edit line. You should be able to like add up top. It's covered by our website. We'll blah blah X that out. Edit graph. There you go. Add line.
So it's,
and then federal funds rate. Effective for that one, top one, or top or second. I don't know. Depends on if you want seasonally adjusted or what. But yeah. See, there you go. Credit cards follow interest rates, which is kind of duh. So yeah, interest rates are going up.
Lagging effect too.
Yeah, there's a lagging effect because you got to spend the money at the new rate before you get into debt.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. Because I pay my credit card off monthly, so I don't understand it. But are credit card rates floating, or are they fixed? Okay.
They're almost always variable. There's some fixed, but I mean, even the fixed ones, they what they do if they're fixed and it goes too high, they just discontinue your damn card.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, but I mean, look into the future. That second line will tell you where that first line is going.
Let me bring it back. It's pretty steep rise right there.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we're almost back to pre-2008 levels, 5.25%.
Well, looking, yeah.
Do you think, curious your opinion on this, do you think that we are now in a different regime of interest
You mean it's different this time?
No, not quite. I mean, like, for the better part of the last 15 years, we've been at zero. do you think that we have entered into a normal range of, let's say, 3 to 5% that?
Well, yes, I think we have entered into the normal range, but we will quickly exit it for a high range.
Okay, yes, that is your thesis. Okay, yes. But you see, here's the opposite thesis that I've heard from other Bitcoiners is that this rate increase is entirely transient, and that the Fed, instead of being forced to raise rates because the U.S. national debt is so high, they'll be forced to drop them back to zero again.
No. I don't see that happening unless they want inflation to run rampant. Which, if that happens, we have much bigger problems as an economy.
Well, it's an interesting take from two people that follow it and are both into Bitcoin a lot.
I mean, if inflation were to suddenly right itself without corrective action, then okay. I mean, if that happens, then okay, yeah, they don't have to raise rates, but they know better.
Are they not taking corrective action?
25 basis points is not corrective action.
Well, they can't do it all at once.
I mean, they were doing it a lot more last year.
True. Getting it up there.
See, that's the thing is, the problem is they're being reactive. So that means they won't do it until it's already too late to make a difference. So, I mean, and they know this. They know there's an 18-month lead time on any data that interest rates affect. So saying, oh, they went up this month or they went down this month. No, that doesn't really matter. It takes like 18 months in the economy before it makes a fucking difference.
Huh. Bitcoin did a spike. I must have missed that one. Oh, damn. That's already down to 3 to 1. I missed a good short trade in Bitcoin right there. I was busy looking at the futures.
You think that's FOMC?
We're looking at the 30-minute Bitcoin right now. It did the same thing as the stock market did because it is not decoupled. It is entirely
See,
correlated.
yeah, I mean, I'll get excited when it decouples.
Yeah.
But it's
No,
directionally correlated, so I don't really care.
Damn. I was I guess the alert came in, but I've got like 20 something alerts coming in. I got bombarded. Let's see. So that would have come in right at 2:30. Yeah, there's the Bitcoin one right there. But yeah, that was a pretty decent one. I was looking for the futures to try to look for a short, but it's not being very forthcoming. But yeah, there's the short. As much as I was talking about Bitcoin, maybe I've drank the Kool-Aid. Maybe I just didn't want to look at it as short. Yeah, because it is in a bull trend. But yeah, you can see where the sell-off is.
Oh, no. Okay. So, any active trades out now?
Do what?
Oh, I gotta go.
Okay, talk to you later.
Later. Maybe we get a pullback here on SPY.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm a little remiss that I wasn't looking at Bitcoin there. Like I said, I'm long, so I wasn't really. Like I said, even though I'm being critical of it, I'm still. I must have drank the Kool-Aid, because while I'm not getting a very good spike here on ES, like what I'd like to see is for. And here's a trade I'd like to see. I like to see either Bitcoin, or excuse me, NASDAQ or the ES pull back to, let's say, 40.47 on ES, or NASDAQ is getting up there. Possibly come up to the high here. This would be something I have to carry for the rest of the week, but it's possible. The 2-to-1 is at the 50%, so I'd have to aim for a little more. I'd have to keep this trade on for probably a few days to bring it down to there. Think about how many people bought Bitcoin going into this news because they've been listening to that guy with a trend that looks like this. But yeah, here's the spike on Bitcoin that happened, right on the news, and of course it pushed up, tried to break that high, slammed back. I mean, this is what I like to see, where you get a big volatile bar like this. The main thing is that it cleared that high right there. Here's the 1 minute. Basically, poop, poop, poked above it. Yeah, and closed. 30-minute makes it cleaner. Closed back inside it. Short it. Stop just needs to be above that high, because that's as far as it's going to go and stay alive. And yeah, good stuff. Not mine, though. You know what I need? I need more monitors. I actually do.
What do you have?
3. I need probably like 6. Because I need 4. I really need. I had 4 on my old trading setup when I had an office, but that computer, if you're going to build a computer, which I do, and you want 4 outputs, you tend to have 2 video cards. And then your video cards, in order to avoid problems, they need to be the same. And so this new computer I bought has a really big, fancy video card in it, and getting 2 of those is a lot. So I'm cheap. But I've got Discord where I'm talking here with my TradingView chat, my YouTube chat. In the middle, that's the screen that you guys see. All right, see you later, MRWD. And then on the right-hand side, I have like browser and stuff. That's a fail. Because what I need like one screen that's got everything up at once. Did JPow stop talking? Or is he still going?
It's also possible
He's still talking.
Potential tightening will contribute significant tightening in credit conditions over time. And in principle, if that means that monetary policy may have less work to do. We simply don't know.
Okay, so how well did he do? Let's look at the probabilities for May.
Let's do it. We'll take some risk.
What's your expiration for that?
Who said it was an option? Big Dick Futures. You could do a put. Okay, how would I do a put? Because that's what people tend to want to do. Let me post it first. So, if I were going to do a put, let's do a QQQ because that's going to be our underlying. Looks the same. There's our 3-to-1, our price action. We got to take it. We really got to take this thing. If you're doing an option, you got to play the broader move. And so what I tend to do is this. You don't know exactly how long it's going to take, but you can say, okay, so there is, hold on. Let's just measure it out. What makes sense? Boom to boom. So, our expiration needs to be at the very least Tuesday. But I would be a little more conservative and I would actually go out to that Friday. But Tuesday if you want to play it pretty close. Let me see what those are. Tuesday, 15. Let's say Wednesday. So if we perfectly get it, we can close it the day before and not have it be a 1 day late. So Wednesday the 29th, March the 29th, that's 7 days. 7 days. I want this thing to go in the money at least 306. That's $200, $220. That's what I would do. You know what?
I think so. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. The die is cast. And I need to buy another monitor. Hopefully I can buy it with the profits. Welcome back.
This is about as normal as I get anymore, so.
What, back and forth?
Yeah, no, I mean, just like talking shit in groups like this, so I'll take a couple of minutes of that.
What do you mean normal?
I've had a lot going on lately.
How's work?
Work's good, but busy.
Is busy good?
For work, yeah. Anyway, don't want to get into it. A lot going on.
Huh?
I said I don't want to get into it, but I got a lot going on.
That's fine. You don't have to get into it. I know you're a private person.
Yeah. So, what you talking about?
I decided to take a little bit of risk on NASDAQ. I've been watching this chart for the better part of the last 2 hours. And NASDAQ and or QQQ, it's at the high of February the 2nd. And you have this big spiky overshoot. A lot of people jumped in. And so if this doesn't follow through, people are going to start getting out. That's the basic premise of a false breakout. You know, I mean, what you need, if it breaks the high of FOMC, I mean, that's going to be the defining number for, well, at least until the end of the week, if not more. As long as it doesn't break today's afternoon high, this thing will be bearish to me. Did you hear about Ripple? I don't know if the news has come out yet.
No, have
So
not. What
Ripple
about
was
Ripple?
supposed to today get.
Yeah, they win their freaking court case.
They're supposed to get an answer,
Yeah.
and because it was coming, there was what looks like a
Run
buy
up.
the rumor, but it's now that I look at it, it's from a technical standpoint, it's already given up. We'll give it another 30 minutes. We'll give it another hour to see here, but yeah, it's giving it up. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I don't know if let me see if his news has come out yet. XRP jumps as investors hope Ripple will win. Buy the rumor, sell the news.
What really saddens me is that the case for now the largest single case for Bitcoin is the Ripple use case.
I know we've talked about that, huh?
It's
That
so
dude that
sad.
does Stripe, he's
Yeah, Jack Mallers is like, or Strike, not Stripe. But yeah, they're gonna do fiat rails and use it as a payment mechanism for fiat transactions. So you pay in fiat, it goes over the Lightning Network, never actually touches Bitcoin, and then then it's paid for in fiat, and that's awesome, right? I'm like, this is at what point do you even use Bitcoin in this? You don't. I cannot be excited for the use case of Bitcoin as fiat rails. I cannot be excited for that. Mostly because it has no bearing on the price. It works at any price. It does not do anything.
You know, I was having a discussion with Rich just earlier, and yeah, I've gone to some of these tab dev and tab pleb or bit devs and bit plebs.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I went the other time because you know, Elwood was giving a talk about, you know, bond and interest rate regime change. I found that interesting. We had a little discussion about that. But to get to that, I had to sit through about an hour of someone doing a PowerPoint off of that, you know, using the Lightning Network book, the one with the ants on top of it, right?
Yeah, O'Reilly.
And I was just thinking the whole time, like, you don't need a book to do Venmo. This is why I don't do stand-up comedy. I'm glad you found that funny, but that's just.
I found it hilarious, but it's true. It's sadly very, very true.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, and then the answer that they would say is like, well, you know, it's because it uses Bitcoin, and that's better.
So a friend of mine is studying to be like an Ethereum dev, and he's like taking master's level courses on the whole thing, and like, you know, he's going to a legit school for it, right?
Yeah, it's
and
what do
he
they
said,
call it? The whole. It's its own programming language, basically, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not just that. It's about the whole thing, right? And how it all works, the finance component and everything else. And he told me that he got scammed, and he still doesn't know how because he can't decipher what happened. But they ended up taking his tokens out of his wallet that was connected to his thing. You know what I mean? Which is, and I said, okay, dude, here's the thing. You are now at this point kind of an expert in this stuff. And if you don't know what happened, how does anybody else have a prayer at making this shit work? You know what I mean? How the fuck could you expect grandma to know what happened to her fucking 8 JPEG? You know?
Well, I mean, I don't know if Rich told you, but he had someone pull money out of his from this old thing, and he couldn't quite explain it to me. He tried to explain it to me as it's like when you let a company do ACH withdrawals from your bank account, you don't deny it, they can just keep withdrawing. I'm like,
yeah,
that sucks.
I mean, if you well, that's the thing, is you don't know what you're signing up for at any given time when you click agree, because you know, unless you can actually read the code, and not only read the code critically.
You know,
then you
honestly,
have no idea what you're signing up for.
I as livid as and the reason I messaged you today and, you know, poked you was because I was actually reading the White House economic report about.
I have not read it, by the way, and it'll be a while before I get through it.
and it just a lot of the things are just making me livid from a principle state. But the other thing that was making me mad was the points they were bringing up about the dangers and the lack of a real defined use case yet. I was like, damn it, they're kind of right. They're kind of right. But basically, TLDR of it was they dedicated like a huge percentage of it to digital markets and digital currencies. And the TLDR was cryptocurrency has no value intrinsically or to consumers. By the way, we're launching FedCoin and soon CBDC. And it's going to be
FedCoin
better.
is CBDC, isn't it?
It's what? Well, oh, no,
I mean,
no. You know what? Let's just pull it up. Hold on. I'll see if I can go through it.
Yeah, because I've always referred to them as one and the same. FedCoin is the old.
They specifically.
So I would take it to mean one being a proxy, an officially sanctioned proxy, and the other one being the actual instrument.
No, you are correct. You are correct that it is a CBDC, but they, in some kind of poorly veiled Orwellianism, talk about FedCoin and then say,
dude, we've been calling it FedCoin since 2013.
Yeah, but it's it's Fed now. It's Fed
now. No, Fed now isn't FedCoin. It's not crypto.
Well,
Fed now is something they've been talking about for a decade.
Yeah, well, it's happening.
Fed now is everybody gets their own account with the Fed. So instead of having to go through a bank, you can actually get an account directly with the Fed. Which is, arguably, I'd say that's just better than what we have now. I mean, objectively. Because fuck banks. Of course, fuck the Fed, but also fuck banks. So...
The perceived appeal of crypto assets. Poisoning the well. This section reviews, it's they just basically throw shade on the whole thing. They actually go into a very.
So this is fine. This is what I would expect. This is ask a banker about crypto. That's what this is.
They go into it. They touch the high level of what it is. They're not. They kind of get it. They're not dumb.
So
I mean, these are people.
When I was working at GM, I would talk to the chief economist at GM, and she would preface every answer with, "Well, most economists think," and I'm like, "I don't give a shit what most economists think. Most economists are wrong."
I take people accusing me of being astrologist by technical analysis, which I can prove works on multiple occasions, and there's whole PhDs dedicated to economics that don't actually work. Crypto assets are mostly speculative investment vehicles. I actually don't disagree.
Well, that's true.
I don't disagree. Yeah,
that's very true.
Very true.
I mean, I wrote a whole paper on the subject.
Yes. Cryptocurrencies generally do not perform all the functions of money as effectively as sovereign money, such as the U.S. dollar. Oh man.
Well, it is hard to buy hookers with ETH.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, you got me there.
I actually feel like that last statement was kind of true, though.
It is. I mean, actually, that's what I was saying. Like, one of the reasons I was getting frustrated at this, and hi, Teague, was because I'm not disagreeing with all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean...
Stable coins can be subject to run risk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
Like, when you're reading this, I mean, also stocks, can they not be subject to the same thing? I mean, it's not like they're just completely shitting on it. They're just pointing out... They're kind of media-ing this shit, like pointing out obvious things and then making it sound bad.
Yeah, well, stocks are, they talk about in the paper here, stocks are different because stocks are promises of ownership of the future profits of companies.
Yep.
And so, whereas crypto doesn't have any kind of backing except for...
Yeah, ICOs are great because you're not even selling the company. You're selling literally nothing. So that's...
I like this.
The best was the fine print on the Trump NFT. Did you guys see the fine print on the Trump NFT?
Where?
It's okay. So it said if you buy one of these NFTs, then you're entitled to a dinner with Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
You're entitled to a lottery or a raffle for a dinner with Donald Trump if you buy one of these NFTs.
Yeah, you can't go to dinner with
But
5,000 people.
But hold on, the fine print says that they, at their discretion, can replace that prize with something else. And guess what? One of the things they listed was another Trump NFT.
Nice. That's nice bait and switch there.
That's fucking awesome.
I found this interesting. I sent this to Rich because he would get a kick out of this because this was his. He turned me on to this. Economists have argued that the most effective financial regulation has been introduced after the crisis has occurred. How does that make any sense? The most effective financial regulation is introduced after a crisis. It's
well, I mean, if it was effective, it wouldn't. No. If it was effective and it was introduced before a crisis, then the crisis would not have occurred. So, duh.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm wrong. Yeah. Other risk, leverage risk, we all know that. See, they're not wrong, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it's so nothing they're saying is factually incorrect.
Exactly.
It's just the spin on it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, which again, to me, this is less about government and more about ask a banker about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know, see what they say.
Or ask an old person about Bitcoin.
All right.
No. Ask an economist about Bitcoin 2023 version. I want to see the 2035 version. That's what I want to see.
So here we go. The FedNow instant payment system.
Yeah, they've been talking about this for
well,
like a decade now. FedNow, yeah.
The regional Federal Reserve banks and the electronic payment network are the country's two national ACA operators. The prevalence of ACH transfers offers many benefits, but a larger, more fast-paced economy is starting to arise. This is going to replace ACH.
Yeah.
ACH
so it's going to replace
can be
banks.
processed same day.
FedNow is an account with the Fed directly instead of with a bank.
In response, the Federal Reserve has prioritized designing and developing a faster payment system. The Federal, 2019. The Fed, but they've been talking about it for a long time. Yeah, the Federal Reserve plans to launch this new system, which is called the FedNow service, later in 2023. Through financial institutions participating in FedNow, businesses and individuals will be able to send and receive payments conveniently, and recipients will have the near instant access to funds, giving them greater flexibility to manage their money and make time-sensitive payments. It's great. It's great. It's great.
Well, yeah, and all of your data goes directly to the Treasury, which is cool.
This service will be operational 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, the banks are not. The uninterrupted processing of fund transfers is an important improvement over existing payment systems.
So basically, all this is they're going to make their own version of Zelle.
This service, next sentence. This service is different from peer-to-peer services such as Venmo in many ways.
Puts on Zelle.
For example, funds transferred via FedNow will be available more quickly than those that must first exit a peer-to-peer payment service and then enter the ACH bank transfer process, which can take time to settle. Zelle is Zelle part of ACH, or is it's just the little interbanking thing they've made between?
It's just peer-to-peer with banks.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's non-Zelle. Okay. I see it on my Bank of America. So. Beyond speed and convenience,
Zelle's cool. It's what I use for shit.
Instant payments can yield economic benefit to both individuals and businesses by allowing them to make time-sensitive payments whenever needed, and just blah 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 blah. Good. But here's the thing. So FedNow is committed to an active engagement by the private sector. Some have suggested that near-instant digital payment systems may reduce the need for circulating digital money. In this case, the benefits of circulating digital money after FedNow is launched may be minimal. In fact, Federal Reserve Governor Michelle Bowman commented that my expectation is that FedNow addresses the issues that some have raised about the need for CBDC, central bank digital currencies. It's important to note that money can come from both a physical format, cash, and a digital format, electronic bank accounts. Thus, a central bank's digital currency is a liability of a central bank, similar to cash, but exists on a digital platform. Talks about CBDC, and then it says that FedNow is not going to be a CBDC. It's different. Of
course not.
It's
different. Because it's not a coin. It's not crypto. There's nothing about it. It's just literally a service run by the Fed. It's equivalent to Zelle. That's all it is.
But where do the units in the FedNow come from? Where do they
banks?
They get created. And where does that get created from?
The banks.
And they get it from where?
Well,
The
they
Fed.
magic it out of thin air
Yeah.
through debt.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I mean, but where they exist is the important thing. They actually exist on the books of the Federal Reserve.
Well, they do talk specifically about CBDCs, like a digital form of US dollar would have the potential to offer significant benefits. So they do uptalk it. And if you start digging a little bit, it starts going into why it's going to be such a good thing. And the why is basically refers you back towards the Biden executive orders about equity.
So here, this thing is like, okay, just looking over this high level, thank you for the summary. There's nothing in here that I would consider new, and nothing in here that surprises me whatsoever in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's not factually incorrect.
No, it's not. It's just slanted, which, yeah, of course. Oh, government doesn't like crypto. Okay, what else is new? You know? Okay. They think CDBCs are better, but they don't even need those because the Fed now is cool. So, like, again, the only thing I took away from that is puts on Zelle. That's it.
Or puts on Venmo.
I mean,
or Cash App.
maybe. I don't even know if Zelle is a publicly traded
It's not.
entity
I think it's just an
or
independent
owned by
service
one.
that's owned.
Well,
completely
somebody
by
owns
banks.
it. Somebody owns it.
Speaking
I don't
of digital currencies, Bitcoin is not weathering this very well.
Yeah. Well, defines weathering.
Well, you notice. I don't know if you noticed when I was coming in, but I have multiple people ask me, like, what's the play on Bitcoin? And I told them straight up, the play was January the 12th and March the 9th. But a lot of people were coming in here. I mean, that's why I was making fun of the meme that's going around now. It's not too late, bro. Thematically, it's not too late. But then again, 60K was not too late.
I mean, looking at the 2-year chart, it's barely lost steam.
That's what I'm saying. But the people that came into the chat at the beginning of the live stream here, they were not thinking 2-year. They're thinking.
I don't look at anything less than the 2-year chart, and I'm kind of pissed the app that I have doesn't have longer than a 2-year chart by default. Like, literally, I have to go get another one.
So what you want to do, if possible, is go on TradingView, and then they have.
No, but it's on my phone. Like, not only is it on my phone. No, but it's not on my phone. It's a widget that's on the desktop or like on the background of my phone.
TradingView is an awesome platform on your phone. It's great.
I know.
Trust me.
Don't be a Luddite. For services.
Don't be a Luddite. So
you want to pay for my TradingView account?
Why would I need to?
Because I'm not going to do it.
You can get it for free. It's just gonna like limit you on I have lots of different save charts and stuff. It has a pretty good freemium version.
I have a setup on my phone that I use, and it's what allows me to keep tabs on the various crypto markets.
So what do you want to look at? I'm looking right now on the screen, the Bitcoin all-time history index going back to October 2009, which is not quite the beginning, but it's the beginning of like.
Yeah, well, I mean, just what I'm saying is, if you look at this view, you don't see any red in the last. Look at the trend. Look at where we are now, and yeah, you see it going down. Yeah, but you don't see. You see a small wick on that green. That's what you see. You don't see. Oh, look, it's going down. I'm saying it's been. No, I'm talking about just if you look at the last 2 or 3 months in this view, it does not look bearish. That's what I'm saying.
So, the way I've trained myself from looking at various charts is to look at this whole picture right here, and basically when you pulled back to the halfway point of the first run up, basically from April 21, you pull back and you held at 3,200. That was a good hold right there. And it went forward and it topped out, but it really, really needed to not breach that 3,200 again. But unfortunately it did. It's very hard for me to square the circle of my also long-term bullish bias on Bitcoin being fixed supply. I mean, as long as there's a little niche collective of people that just hodl it, it will fundamentally, continue to go up in value. It's just a question of, like how much does that matter?
Right. Where does it top out at?
Well,
Because
how much does that matter?
it's a simple function of total adoption, right?
I'm unfortunately I don't drink the Kool-Aid on adoption. Like I'm not.
No. I'm saying it's a simple function of what total adoption ends up being. I'm not
Right.
saying, oh, it's adopted universal. I'm saying, the actual price of it. Not that it will to be adopted totally. It's no, the number of total adoption is what drives that in the long term.
Yes, and that's why I'm kind of critical of that, because I just get really tired of this whole, Fed is going to add it to their balance sheet. It's going to be the global reserve currency bullshit.
You mean the safety and Amos argument?
Yeah, and here's another thing I was thinking about recently. Like, how are people going to come this collapse that everyone's talking about? How are people going to go to the grocery store and buy stuff in Bitcoin if every time they do, they incur a taxable event? Who the hell is going to keep up with all that?
Well, nobody, but the question, the whole thesis is nobody's going to do that, and they won't reasonably be expected to do that because nobody will, and eventually the laws will just be changed to de minimis because it will be populism at that point.
Eventually, that's my point, though. I mean,
one begets the other, right?
You're depending on the benevolence of some very power hungry people.
It's not benevolence, not benevolence. So
Logic?
For a de minimis, no, hold on. For a de minimis exception of crypto to happen, it will only happen because politically there is no other tenable choice. That is the only way it will ever happen. So it's not,
again,
we will have a de minimis exemption and then we will see a rise from it. That will never occur.
My 71
It will be the other way around if it ever happens.
My 71-year-old mother is not going to learn how to do a self-custody wallet.
No, nobody's going. Okay, yeah, I'm not even saying
read
that.
A book to do a.
So the only way that crypto ever works is if that stuff is abstracted completely.
Yeah, but
that's the only way. That's always been the case.
But it defeats the purpose then.
No, not necessarily, because you can abstract it and create tools that work for grandma. You can do that,
but they're not as secure.
Well, there's trade-offs involved.
Grandma doesn't want that trade-off when she has other benefits from like identity theft. Like, if someone steals your credit card, you're not responsible for the charges. If someone steals your wallet because you used password 1234 on
No, I agree with that, and that's why most Bitcoin people, like Bitcoiners themselves, they advocate using credit cards for daily spending.
Yes,
which
but
they do, and it's so hypocritical because it undercuts the entire argument.
I really want this global reserve currency thing to die. I really do, because I think it's unnecessary to have a bullish bias in Bitcoin. But unfortunately, it's just permeated the minds of the Bitcoin maxis so much.
So I think reserve currency is a different issue, because I think there's a chance, regardless of whether people use it for day-to-day commerce as the thing that they use, it could still end up the reserve currency. But not like people think.
I mean, they take
so the only argument I can make for Bitcoin ending up the reserve currency is, on average, global reserve currency lasts about 100 years, 80 to 110 years, and it's changed 5 times over the last 500 years. Portugal, then it was Spain, then it was the Netherlands, then it was England, then it was US dollar. Guess what? Ours has been since the end of World War I. That's how long we have been the world reserve currency. So about 100 years, right? So we're due for the next change. If it changes, we're receding in power globally, of course, as all global reserve currency holder nation states. Like the Dutch East India Company, they ruled the world at one time. That's why the Netherlands was a world reserve currency. The British fleet, prior to that, Portugal discovered the New World. Of course, they ended up the world reserve currency, right? They had all the gold. So, like, who is next in line along that thesis?
Well, as I've said, to Channel Fight Club, the survival rate for every empire eventually drops to zero.
Right. Who's the next empire? Logically, just looking at the world stage.
Who to rise?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Oh, come on. Should be fairly obvious.
I don't think there is a next. I
I
think the
don't
U.S. is going to
think
stay here
that
for a long
China
time.
has the young population to do it.
Okay.
Plus,
Well,
China's losing their shit.
okay. Let's just assume that China gets their shit together in the next 2 decades, because 2 decades is a long fucking time. Okay. They're logically, because they're on an uptrend globally in power. And so they're logically the next in line to take over that thing. Now, if assuming that's the answer, my second question is, do you think the U.S. wants that to happen, or will allow that to happen if there's any way to avoid it?
I feel like there's more than
for it
just.
not to happen.
I feel like there's more than just economy going into it. I mean, like the U.S. is like relied on for wars and military and all sorts of things. We have so many alliances in place with these
For
people
now,
that China
yeah,
just
we are.
doesn't have.
Until we go broke. If we go broke from all this shit, then we won't be able to afford a fucking standing military. So,
in 2 decades, though,
dude, we've only been top shit for 100 years. 2 decades is a long time. Like, so, like, so just let me get out the rest of the thesis. So what could happen is, if it becomes apparent that we are going to have to cede global reserve currency status to China, we may push for nobody to have global reserve currency status. Enter an instrument like Bitcoin, where it's not controlled by any nation state.
Also, the past 100 years have been like completely different than the 100 years prior to that. I mean, we literally started flying, invented computers, we have vaccines. The technology
Yeah, but I mean,
has
the
been
Dutch East India
exponentially
Company
different.
discovered in Portugal. They discovered a new continent, which is more impactful. Like, honestly,
I think
come on.
flight and making the entire world small to where you
Then
can travel in less than
discovering
20
half
hours.
of the world.
Yeah.
You really think so?
Oh, 100%. I know so. America's developed ways to talk to people live time in Africa. That was never around with Portugal. Yeah. No, I mean, I get the argument you're trying to make, but
I'm just
America
saying,
did much more in making the
discovering
world smaller.
half of the gold in the world is more economically impactful than the internet. Like, it's like, especially when
really
gold is
don't-
your reserve currency. Well,
We weren't
if your
able to
reserve currency is
do-
gold based, it is.
I don't know. I'm not going to argue this too much, but you got to think about it. I mean, who cares if they had half the gold in the world? What were we doing with it? We weren't spinning it with countries in matters of milliseconds like we are these days.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they put it on ships and sent it home. That's why they became the most powerful country in the world for 100 years. Like,
I just
Didn't
don't agree.
silver actually hurt Spain? Like, because they were really big on silver, and they brought a bunch back, and it just ended up inflating the supply. If I recall, my history is a little fuzzy on that.
So going back to your point, Wes, you always say this. Do you really think this time it's different?
I hate to say that. I really.
Well,
do.
I mean, if you say, hey, no, we're going to be the global reserve currency for a long time, then you're saying, well, this time it's different.
So, a lot of people were convinced that BRICS was going to, take over, and it just so happens that each of those countries has its own unique problems that are standing in its way. It's hard to say. It really is.
No, and I'm not saying it's definitely going to be China. I'm just saying it almost can't be us for long.
It can't be us forever, but I just don't see any other nation that has the prominence. I mean, unless we fall very quickly, which some would argue that we will, because FUD. It's just, I don't...
Well, it's called a revolution is what it's called, and they're known to happen.
Oh, yeah, we could definitely have that. We could definitely have that, unfortunately, because, yeah, people are...
I mean, they happen, is all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you can't say, oh, that'll never happen. they do.
I personally think that if we're relying on an American Revolution again for Bitcoin to take off, I don't think that's a bullish enough reason for me to
There
want
are
to put.
lots of different kind of revolutions. It doesn't have to be a. So the internet itself was a revolution.
So you want America to fall or have a revolution for Bitcoin prediction to be correct?
I'm not saying I want anything. I'm just trying to see what's going to happen based on
I got
logic.
you. I'm
I can
picking up.
react. Just gotta take a look in just chatting. Oh shit, that's the chart. That's the chart. And this time it's different, right?
Well, yeah.
And there's a reason for every one of those, and it's always the most powerful country on the planet.
Yeah.
And empires fall, and that's the deal.
But the criticism I'd have of this is that while these boxes are somewhat the same, they are not. So we don't know exactly when this little box is going to pop out.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying, as time goes by, likelihood increases because things don't last forever.
I know that Ray Dalio he wrote a whole book on this topic, and he basically goes through each of these countries and their fall. And so I'm rusty on my history there, so I'm not going to speak to it. But yes, because reasons.
Yeah, but I love the 1500, right? Where does that one start? 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, Portugal.
Well, yeah, Spain.
Right there. Spain, Spanish doubloons. They, basically plunder the New World.
Yeah, they
Netherlands, Dutch East India Company. I don't know France. I know Britain, Sterling,
I'm surprised.
And the Navy, triangular trade.
Well, I think then the question is, who controls the seas now?
Very good point.
It's us, but then again, are the seas as important as they used to be?
Well, who's growing in dominance of the seas now? Who's now pushing in the South China Sea, taking more and more territory?
That I got to challenge you on. That's highly regional. The reason they're allocating resources to that is because South China Sea is an existential area for them. Because the problem with China is that they import almost all of their energy, and they absolutely must maintain.
I don't know though. Would you say U.S. was the sea? Because I could see an argument either way for that one.
Well, 13 aircraft carrier battle groups, super carriers.
Well, yeah, but no, that's true. But I mean,
but the argument the way I would argue against myself there about sea power is that perhaps something like internet power.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the point I'm trying to make is we didn't have that power in 1935 when we gained that status.
Well, we did because we were the only people to come out of.
You know what we had? You know why we got that?
Excellent.
We had all the gold. We had all the gold.
Yeah, everyone. Well, it's because we were untouched. We had excellent geography. We had all the natural resources that we needed.
And we were selling weapons to both sides in the conflict.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a very, very opportune position for us to be in, and we're pretty much unassailable with two giant 1,000-mile moats on either side.
Yeah, but I mean, the end of the day is what this chart follows, regardless of sea power, is who has all of the gold. Now, granted, that's out of date because it's not gold anymore.
Right.
And hasn't been gold since 1971. But still, who has all of the plunder?
Now?
I mean, that's what's going to decide who the next one is.
Michael Saylor, clearly.
So, I mean, all I'm saying is, if it looks like the U.S. is going to lose global reserve currency status, because we need it, otherwise the whole 3-card Monte game's up, right? So, if we decide we're going to lose it, I could see us shifting it to a neutral reserve.
A neutral reserve that all the nerds have right now. and will become kings. Yes, I can see that.
I mean, that's the only argument I can see for making that happen.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that it will happen. I'm just saying that's the only plausible way I see it could.
I get where you're coming from.
Anyway.
Well, the market closed while we were solving the world's problems.
Oh.
And I feel pretty validated closing out my SPY and going short NASDAQ. So I'm made up for missing the Bitcoin trade. Do you ever have Wednesday nights free?
Not right now.
Okay, you should. Well, sometime you can. You should come hang out with us. We go out.
I would like to.
Are we doing Wing Wednesday tonight, Wes?
Every Wednesday, man.
I may not be there. I've been cutting down my alcohol intake, trying to budget a little bit more.
Nobody says you have to.
I know.
I tried to go one time, Wes. Remember?
The deal's literally wings for alcohol.
All right. Well, I gotta hop off anyway.
Yep, I'm going.
So,
to,
anybody got over under on next FOMC?
Huh?
What's your over under on next FOMC?
I'm guessing. I'm gonna say that they don't raise because
When
they've
is
only.
When is it? Next month or?
It's every month. Yeah.
Sometimes they skip a month.
Yeah, well, it's the I was going back through my live streams, and the old FOMC was like at the beginning of February, and this is here at the end of March. So I don't know when it is. I guess they'll announce it, but I'm gonna say that they don't because they said they were going to raise it. Okay, at the beginning of the year, they said they were going to raise it 3 times.
Yep.
They raised it 2, and then wait, hold on, let me go back. I'm losing the I haven't kept track of it. Anyway, they originally before this meeting had said they were going to raise it 2, but then about a week or 2 before the banking issues, they said, or JPow said, we may need to do 3. So if that is, it's either one of 2 or one of 3, and I think it's probably going to be 3. And so you've got 2 more rate hikes this year, and you've got 9 more months. So
yeah, I think they're gonna do 25 next month.
Okay, well, it'll be interesting to see. I'll definitely stream it. So
yeah, be interesting.
Yeah,
I honestly don't follow. I just happened to catch it.
Do what?
I honestly don't follow. I mean, I didn't even really know that it was today. I wasn't paying attention.
Well, that's why I pinged you or pinged everyone.
All right, I'll catch you later.
See you, man.
Bye.
Let's see what I'm doing for dinner tonight.
That was interesting.
One of these days, yeah, he's I like to hang around with people that have a higher IQ than me, and he's one of them. I really do. He's definitely smarter than me. We don't agree on everything, but he's a smart guy.
Yeah, I never looked into literally just the angles he was coming from. I couldn't speak on him. I had no freaking clue.
He's a smart guy. He's been in Bitcoin as long as me. So he and I both share our sort of, I wouldn't say that we're negative about it, but we both share our frustrations with the way that it has, not lived up to its potential yet.
So are these stocks just like slipping today due to the JPow announcement of the
pretty much? I mean, if you want to attribute a reason, then it definitely is. But me, and you were asking me questions about Norwegian Cruise Line and stuff like that, like trading and that kind of stuff. I mean, I, as a trader, don't really focus on the news that much. It's honestly, and people can, talk about it if they want to. It's superfluous to the action of price, because this whole time that the rate was announced, at 2, and Jerome Powell, talked, and it just seesawed back and forth. But now here we are down, and tonight and tomorrow the financial media is going to say stocks down on the rate decision. But what good does that do anyone? What you had to do is what I did, which is when it pulled back to the level I was waiting for the whole meeting. Basically, you have this false breakout where the whole action today transpired at a high of the NASDAQ that was set on February the 2nd. That's where we were at, price-wise. And so this meeting happened within the context. I mean, this is the level, all right? And then the news shot it up above the level, got everyone thinking that it was going to go up. And it stalled. It came back down. It created this little price wick right here. And that's when I'm looking for a short. And so you got to take on the risk here, saying, okay, that looks like a fake out, if you want to benefit from it. Because tomorrow on Zero Hedge or on the news, it's basically going to be, market down, closing slower because reason. Well, what could you have done with that? Nothing. You got to read the tea leaves. But this is what I trust is, false breakouts like this. And that was what Norwegian Cruise Line did on Monday of this week, where it got to this little low and went down, faked it out, was doing pretty well. It was up 5% yesterday, but oh well. You know what? I was going to say something to you, but I'm superstitious about bragging, so I didn't say anything. Because this can happen. It can still be where if it breaks the low, like come tomorrow, if this bear move follows through, I'm going to close it. I'm going to take the loss, small loss. And that's the difference. Like, I'm not going to sit and just, diamond hand it. I've allocated a certain amount of risk, from here to here, and that's all I'm going to give it.
Well, I hear you. I don't have much of a choice right now.
You always have a choice. It's just a painful one.
Yeah.
Dude, it sucks losing money. I do it a lot, actually. But the question you got to ask is, would that money give you a better return elsewhere? And that's a hard question. Like, you can't really answer that definitively. But there, you got to watch out for like the cognitive biases, like sunk costs. Like, I've got it in this; it needs to come back. Well, I mean, that's the thing is, and this is hindsight, so it is what it is. But in cruise lines, throughout the whole 2020, 2021, you got stuff in it, and it's pretty much nowhere in 3 years. The stock market itself, if you had just put it into, SPY, even if you had bought it mid 2020, if you just put it in index funds, you'd be up 25%. Some things you'd be down more, so you could be worse. Something I did in the beginning of 2021 was Procter & Gamble, which is here nor there. You don't know, but you can't get married to something. But that's hard because in order to own a stock, you need to be committed to it.
Yeah.
But that's why I like to look at charts and base my decisions on that, is because it's a lot more objective and a lot more transferable. Like I don't care what the Nasdaq's going to do. I mean, I care now because I'm in a short position, but I'll carry this overnight, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. See what Europe does with this. I didn't close my Tesla.
Well, I appreciate the insight, and I will probably see you tonight, but I gotta get going.
All right, man. We'll see you later.
All right, see you, Wes.
Let me check my chats. Anybody got anything else they want to chime in? Hey, what's up, Option? I've been reading the chat there. Yeah, things happen because reasons. People like to tell stories. It's just that I get it's a pet peeve of mine when I, read the news after something has happened, and then people share that back to me. Like, oh, it happened because of this. I'm like, well, that's great that you say that, but what does knowing that now help you to make money in the future? Like, what did you learn from, hearing that this thing happened? Like, is this something that you can convert into a repeatable strategy? This off event happens. Yeah, because it sounds smart. It's like, oh, I discern the reason for it. But my key point is this: how does that help you make money now or in the future? Let's see. IWM. What is the Russell doing? Not much. Yeah, not much anything. Yeah. A lot of trading is getting over human nature, for sure. That's why bank exposure. Yeah, I can see that. Well, it's basically the 2,000, somewhere in there, range market cap. The two things I look at are ES and NASDAQ simply because I just don't have enough bandwidth. That's just one of the things to look at. Like, I don't even look at the Dow because I, for one, don't think the Dow is diversified enough to really represent anything. I mean, you could trade it if you wanted to, but there's plenty of liquidity in ES and NASDAQ. And being as they are so close, but sometimes different, you can play them off of each other. Yeah. Stocks they are figments of our imagination, but they do have value. They do have, they are ownership in the profits of a company. And that kind of goes back to one of my criticisms of crypto is crypto thus far has not produced anything. The internet, at least, gave us, within the first 15 years, email, which businesses could then use to save money on postage and phone calls, long-distance phone calls. Yes, it is. It's, as I've said to people, 2 years ago who were getting really mad at Zoomers not buying Bitcoin and buying NFTs, I said, here's what we say to these Zoomers. Bitcoin is like an NFT, but better. It's actually fungible instead of not fungible. And you can have it and collect it and keep it. There's really not much different because ultimately that JPEG that you bought is stored somewhere else on the internet. Yes, gold and see, and I think here I have a theory. This is my theory. I think that one of the reasons that during this whole, inflation FUD, which is really from, 2021 onward, the reason that you haven't seen a tremendous explosion in gold is because a lot of capital, a lot of fearful safe haven seeking capital has been sucked up by cryptocurrency. So, anyway, thank you for the thoughtful discussion. Thanks for hanging out. You're on our Discord, aren't you? I think I saw you there, right? Where are you? I think I saw your icon there. You're a little cute. What is that? What is that? Your icon there? What's your name on Discord? I'm gonna give you a blue name. Sal, where are you? I'll find you. There you are. Boom, you're blue. Someone was asking me on the options trading channel, why I picked the strike that I did that went the March 29th. I'm explaining it to them. Basically, just what makes sense. I mean, I thought that it might take for this bearish move. I mean, this given the All right. It's been good. This has been good. I'm happy with my performance today. I am. I didn't get pissy that I missed the Bitcoin. I sacked up and took the risk right here at where I wanted it. Closed out my SPY long when it seemed like we were making a false breakout. It's time for a beer. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Hope you had a good time. Hope you made some money today. I'll be back on Friday at 4 p.m. I do that every Friday. So hope to see you guys there. Have a good one. Trade wisely.